Hey guys, well it's Thursday. Looks like I'm gonna finally be able to get to do some sawing. I don't have many logs left here. I don't know what the story with the log cutters are, but anyway, what I've got here is, I'm not even sure the length or anything of this. Let me get a tape out and I'll check it for you. Okay guys, so I put gas in there and checked the oil and stuff, and we're good. I need to start that and let it warm up a little bit. And in the meantime, I'm going to measure this log. Right here is about 10 foot. It's not quite 12 foot long. So I'm going to cut this off. Got about an 8-inch log there. So it's only good for 5.5-inch cant, roughly. And that'll be okay. I'll cut that cant and then I'll cut it into boards. The problem here is I'm running out of lumber to cut, which I have to get some, and I've already ordered it, but it hasn't come yet. So anyway, I'm going to work on cutting this into a 5.5-inch cant after I saw that off, and we'll see what kind of boards we can get out of it. You know, a small log like this, guys, a lot of people use for firewood right away, but I have to tell you that if it's a straight grain, and this looks pretty straight, I don't know until I open it, you can get a lot of molding out of stuff like this. 5.5 inches, you figure you cut that down the middle, you got less than a 3-inch board. That would be actually good to cut molding from if you have a molding cutter and stuff. I'm just saying, you know, there's a lot of things you can do. Just because wood is small doesn't mean it's useless. So we'll see what this looks like and what we can get out of it. I need to start the sawmill up and let it warm up. Well, like I say, I'm going to cut a piece of that off, and then after I warm the mill up a little, then I'll go ahead and keep cutting, or start to cut. Okay, so this log has a little bit of a bend in it. You can see it there, right about here, because of the wide gap there away from the frame. But it's not a biggie, and you know, it's 10 foot long. Going to make a couple nice boards, like I say, probably 1x5. So you should get about 5 boards out of there, if nothing else. got like a 7-inch cut there. I should be able to get 5.5 inches out of that. So we'll just have to check it and see what happens here. Now it doesn't matter which way you turn this. You can turn it so that this is a 90. You can turn it a 180. There's a bunch of things you can do with it. Because of the width of it, I'm going to turn it 180 so I can get the definite 5.5 inches that I'm looking for. Nothing special to it, it's just a matter of trying to get the cant out of there that it's supposed to give me. It's actually some nice smoking wood there. So I'm gonna see if I can get the 5.5 inches out of there, maybe 6 inches. See what the other side looks like, and then I'll have some an idea of the cant. It's just because of the bend and that the log is so small that I'm, you know, fussing around with this trying to get the cant that I am supposed to get. It's a little narrow up at the other end, so I'm going to take another 1/2 inch off. There's a couple of knots in this, I'll show it to you. But it doesn't look bad. It's pretty straight grain. So I'm going to move those rollers a little bit so that they're not in the way of the blade. And I'm going to see if I can trim out 6 inches out of that thing. Would be nice. The other day, somebody asked me why I don't put the log in such a way that I can use 2 clamps to clamp it in place. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes clamping the log in 2 places, you're actually putting a strain on it and you're bending the log a little bit. Even the cant, it depends on how big it is naturally, but even a little bit of tension on it can start to bend it. So that bend sometimes causes confusion in the cut. You'll be cutting a board and all of a sudden you'll see there's a little bit of a tapered cut to it. That's because, you know, you might have bent the board. Sometimes the weight of the weight of the cant itself will actually do that to you. So we're going to see what we have here now. Not a bad looking cant. The wood grain is nice on here. Yeah, 5.5 inches probably. there don't have any knots in. So I want to watch how I cut that so I get the least amount of knots, because it'll make the best molding with the lesser knots in them. Pretty nice straight can. It's 5.5 by 5.5. So like I'm saying, if you split that down the middle and make 1-inch boards out of those, you end up with, you know, wood for molding that you can use, casing or whatever. Alright, so we've got nice grains showing on that side. So I'm going to cut from the top down 1-inch boards. It should end up with about a 1/2 inch or less piece that's going to be garbage. Stuff will make some nice molding. Got a nice grain to it. Tree right here. It's not too good looking. I'm still going to cut a 1-inch board out of it, so I don't know. I might be able to get one good piece out of there, but we'll see. Yeah, this one here is pretty bad. You can see there's a big hole in it here from bugs. They didn't quite make it through the other side, so the next board is nice. Now normally I'd keep this, but I have no reason to keep it because it's just not good enough, so I'm going to get rid of it. got 4 boards here all together. There's one over there that I can use to make molding. Now there'll be some clear pieces, some clear molding, and then there'll be some with some knots in them. I actually like a little bit of knots like this in the molding. It makes it interesting to look at. This stuff here will put clear molding out of this and that one. So anyway, that's how I got the molding that I already have that I used for the house so far. And I cut thousands of boards, or thousands of linear feet of molding just out of the same thing you're looking at there. So small logs, even though they may be good for firewood, if firewood's what you're wanting, well then make firewood. But if you're trying to, you know, make yourself some money with red oak or whatever molding, this is one way to do it. Have a good one, guys. I thought you might be interested in seeing what's going on here with the trees. There's not a whole lot of green. I mean, there's a red oak there. That's a maple that's got... It's weird. There's a maple up front here, and there's one in the back of it that's already turned. Some of the smaller ones here that are beech haven't turned yet, but you can see there's a lot that have turned yellow already. Beautiful. It's really nice to work outside and when you get to see this stuff. I love seeing it, but it's a little early for, to be honest with you, for fall. I mean, fall is usually the second week of October, and here we are, you know, next to the last week in September, and the leaves are already changing pretty good. But that's okay. I love it. Very nice. Boy, everything is so dusty because we haven't had rain in a couple of weeks. We haven't had a good rainstorm in probably 3 months. I gotta blow that out from under the sawmill. It's nice to push it when it's dry like that, but I don't really... I'm worrying about my well. I just want to make sure my well has water through the winter. Of course, I have nothing to do with it. It all depends on the rain. So hopefully the Lord will make a rain here for... One good day of rain would do it. But we got to see what happens. Usually it starts to rain before deer season, or even the second week of deer season. Sometimes it's already icy by then, so we don't want that either.